Why do people fall in love with strangers? Welcome to the Love Podcast. Today we're exploring a question that has fascinated poets, psychologists, and storytellers for centuries. Why do people sometimes fall in love with complete strangers? It can happen in the most ordinary moments. Two people notice each other across a room. A brief conversation on a train feels unexpectedly meaningful. A glance, a smile, or a shared laugh suddenly seems charged with possibility. But what is actually happening in the mind when a stranger suddenly becomes someone who feels deeply important? Psychologists suggest that part of the answer lies in how the human brain processes novelty. We are naturally drawn to new experiences and unfamiliar faces. When we encounter someone we do not know, our brains begin rapidly filling in the gaps with imagination. Because we know very little about the stranger, we often project qualities onto them. We may imagine they are kinder, more interesting, or more compatible with us than we can possibly know from a brief interaction. In other words, the stranger becomes a canvas onto which our hopes and desires can be painted. There is also a powerful biological component. When we experience attraction, the brain releases chemicals such as dopamine and norepinephrine. These chemicals are associated with excitement, reward, and heightened attention. This chemical surge can make a brief encounter feel unusually intense. Time may seem to slow down. Small details, such as the sound of someone's voice or the way they laugh, become unusually memorable. Because the experience is so vivid, the mind may interpret it as something meaningful or even destined. Another important factor is mystery. Familiar people come with known habits, flaws, and histories, but strangers carry an aura of possibility. Their lives are unknown stories waiting to be discovered. This mystery can make the imagination work harder. The mind begins constructing narratives about who this person might be and what a relationship with them could look like. For many people, the idea of falling in love with a stranger also taps into cultural storytelling. Literature, films, and songs have long celebrated the romantic power of chance encounters. The idea that love might appear suddenly, without planning, feels both thrilling and hopeful. But psychologists also note that what feels like love at first sight is often more accurately described as intense attraction combined with projection. Real love usually develops over time, as two people learn about each other's values, personalities, and emotional patterns. Still, those first moments of fascination can be powerful. They may lead to conversations, relationships, and shared experiences that would never have happened otherwise. In this sense, the stranger represents possibility. They remind us that human connection can appear unexpectedly in everyday life. Perhaps that is why these encounters remain so compelling. In a world that often feels predictable, the sudden spark of attraction reminds us that our emotional lives are still capable of surprise. Falling in love with a stranger may begin with imagination and chemistry, but sometimes those fleeting moments become the starting point for something far more real. Thank you for listening.